What's up YouTube, uzmakikunai1 here, and I thought I would give you a slightly more in-depth profile of my Darklord deck that you may or may not have seen on my tournament diaries. It's the exact same deck as the most recent one, but I thought I'd go through it a bit. So just give a bit more of the combo side of it, rather than just show you all the cards. And I apologise if you hear any noise from next door. My housemate is watching a film with his door open. So yeah. So I play 3 Darklord Asmodeus. He gets your tokens and is a Foolish Burial on 3k. Superbia. When she's special summoned from the graveyard, she special summons another fairy apart from herself. So you get a double Call of the Haunted or double Monster Reborn, which is kind of the main way you put pressure on your opponent in this deck. One Tethys for a bit of draw power. One Venus, just in case they really need to beat over something like a BLS or a Grapher or whatever. Triple Hyperion for making Miraculous Descent live and just popping stuff that you need to. One Zerato. The main decked version of this is basically just another allure target, but wiping the field is obviously quite nice. I've got more of him in this side and you'll see why later on. Double Christia. Obviously one of the best fairies in the game, stops all special summoning, can SS itself, add stuff back to hand, extremely good. Sucks if you have no monsters up and they reborn it, but that's why you should always keep a Call Haunted face down to chain to that. Triple Hecatrice. Touch out your Valhalla. This deck relies on Valhalla, so if this wasn't a card I wouldn't be playing this deck. Triple Herald of Orange. Thought about maybe putting another one of the coloured heralds in there, but I think orange is the best one. It's just what you need really, and it's a tuner which helps a lot. Triple Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen, kind of the main card of the deck. Turns every fairy into a cyber dragon, which you obviously need because more than half your monsters are level 8, so Triple Gold Sark. This is a card that I haven't seen in any other Darklord build that I've kind of researched, but yeah, I like it. You can just, if you have a dead Miraculous Descent rather, set from last turn, play that, banish any fairy, and then flip the Miraculous. Or you can just Sark Reborns, Valhallas, anything you need. Triple Trading. You run more than enough targets, and yeah, you just need to get stuff in the grave and free up your hand to do stuff as well, so this does both. Double Upstart Goblin. Obviously down from 3 to put an extra gold Sark in. Seemed to work pretty well, but yeah, gold Sark is a bit slower, so against stuff like wind-ups and Sams, it's just kind of a bit iffy. Might put a third one back in, but I don't know what to take out yet. Nothing really springs to mind. Allure of Darkness. Draw 2, banish your Asmo, flip the Miraculous Descent, summon the Asmo and beat face. Dark Hole. Reborn. This is incredibly powerful in this deck in particular. I know it's powerful in every deck, but just being able to go Monster 1 Superbia, something else huge, amazing. This 90% of the time I just sark this. If I draw sark before this rather, sorry. And for your traps, you just play 3 cool Haunted and 3 Miraculous Descent. Right, I'll go through the side and what I have of the extra, then I'll go through some of the combos and stuff. Side deck, I play 1 Mudora. This is a really old ass card. It's level 4, 1500, 1800. It gains 200 points for gains 200 attack points for every fairy type monster in the grave. My reasoning for putting this in is if they can get out stuff like Vanity's Fiend or another Christia or anything like that, then I can just normal summon this and beat over it. Because unless something has gone horribly wrong, you should have at least 5 fairies in the grave at any one time, like after like turn 1 or 2. So this will be on 2/5. You can also res it with Superbia late game for a decent beat stick, although you don't really need to do much work in this deck to get a decent beat stick out. Double Victoria, double instead of just 1, because you can Valhalla 1, and then normal the other one, you've got a lockout, which is nice, and you can also res with Superbia. Marshmallow for stopping those spammy OTK decks. Acid Rain, because I don't have system down still. Storm, I don't main it because I run so much continuous stuff. You don't really want to pop your own Valhalla. Double Crevice. This is pretty good in this deck because it's kind of like Soul Release in Lancer Frogs. You can hit both graves and plus off your grave and make your opponent really minus off of theirs. Like if you have one of this set, and one of these bad boys in grave, you can Crevice, move their Grapher or Hornet or anything else, remove this, flip Miraculous Descent, and summon it. You can also do this with against a light deck. I'm not entirely sure which light decks you need stuff removing from the grave, but you could remove Christia and their light and summon it, which is all good. Then I play 2 Darklord Zerato, or 2 more Darklord Zerato. Just to beef up the Dark Beta count. I usually take out like a Venus and a Tethys or something if I need to put in any of the viruses, just so they're live a bit more often, because this isn't like Darklords where you're pretty much guaranteed to have a Grapher sized thing every turn, so yeah. One key point I want to put out there, if you're wanting to play this deck, is conserving your stuff. Like if you have a Valhalla out and a cool set, let's say you don't even have anything in hand, but you have a Superbia and something cool in the grave. That's just for example these two. and your opponent attacks you, but it's not anywhere close to game, I wouldn't flip that call. Even if it does block you with a bit of damage, because the likelihood of you drawing something big to Valhalla next turn is too great. So if you draw this next turn, even if you've taken like 2k damage, you can Valhalla that, dump something. If you do get Asmo, you can dump something even cooler than what I've put in there, like a Christia or something. Then you flip your call, and then you go for some form of power play. This is the main way I make this bad boy. If you play it smart, you can make this whenever you really want to. I usually don't, because you don't need to. I usually just go into this if you desperately need to pop something. But you can go into this quite easily, which is funny against decks like Wind Up. You just ditch material and just annihilate them, which is good. And that brings me on to the extra deck. I don't have the complete extra deck on me at the moment. If you want to see that, go to my tournament diary. But the main thing you need is one, maybe two of these. One is fine for me at the moment, but I might want to pick up a second once the tins come out. Neo Galaxy Eyes, and I don't have one at the moment, but I'm going to put a Alloy of Justice Decisive Armor in there. My reason for that is, if you have an Asmo out and it dies, and both your tokens are still up on your turn, and you have no cards in hand, and you top deck a dead Herald, you can normal summon it and go straight into Decisive Armor and have a 3/3 beater. I've wanted that in my extra deck for a little while now, but I just haven't been able to pick one up. Hopefully this weekend. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, that's enough babbling from me. If you have any questions about the deck, any tips, if you started running it as well, let me know. But this is uzmakikunai1 signing off.